Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really powerful system from the book The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. The premise is bold. What if you could achieve more in just 12 weeks than most people do in a whole year? Let's break down exactly how it works.
Okay, let's start with a scene that's probably a little too familiar. It's January 1st, you are fired up, you've set these big, ambitious goals for the year. But then February rolls around and you're already a little bit behind. What's the first thought that pops into your head? Probably something like, no big deal. I've still got 11 more months to catch up.
Well, that feeling, that idea that you have plenty of time, is exactly what the book calls a trap. So in this explainer, we're going to first look at that problem, the annual thinking trap. Then we'll dive into the 5 core ideas behind the solution: creating your new 12-week year, starting with a powerful vision, how to plan and execute, and finally, the difference between just being interested and being truly committed. So this flawed mindset, the authors give it a name: annualized thinking. And they make the case that it is the #1 thing holding you back from high performance. It's that subtle, sneaky belief that you have a full 12 months to get things done. You see, annualized thinking gives you this false sense of security. It totally kills any sense of urgency because the deadline, the end of December, always feels so far away. And what happens? You end up just reacting to whatever the day throws at you instead of actually driving a plan forward. The 12-week year completely flips this on its head. It forces you to realize that every single week counts, which creates this constant, healthy urgency and focus right from day one. So, what is the big idea here? Well, it's all about radically reframing your relationship with time. I want you to think about that intense focus, that energy you feel at the end of the year when you're in that year-end push to hit a deadline. Now imagine, what if you could tap into that same intensity not just once, but 4 times a year? Believe it or not, this whole system is actually based on a concept from the world of elite athletics called periodization. See, top athletes, they don't try to improve everything all at once all year long. No way. Instead, they focus intensely on just 1 or 2 specific skills for a short period, maxing out their gains before they move on to the next thing. And that brings us to the core shift. Your year is no longer 12 months. From now on, it's 12 weeks. This creates a time horizon that's long enough to get something really significant done, but it's short enough that you maintain this powerful sense of urgency. The deadline is always right around the corner. It's such a simple mental shift, right? But it fundamentally changes your entire approach to getting things done. But to make it really work, you need more than just urgency. You need a direction. And that starts with having a crystal clear vision. For any of this to actually stick, you have got to have a powerful why. Let's be honest, real execution means doing things that are uncomfortable, things you probably don't feel like doing. A really compelling vision for your future is what gives you the emotional fuel you need to push through that discomfort. You know, vision is the starting point for all high performance. You have to create everything twice, first in your mind, then in reality. You need to build a future that is so much bigger, so much more desirable than your present, that it literally pulls you forward when things inevitably get tough. And what's so crucial here is that a strong vision isn't just about your job or your bank account. It's about connecting your goals to the life you actually want to live. It should cover everything from your health and your relationships to your personal interests, creating this powerful, emotional link between what you do every day and what you desire most deeply. Okay, so with that clear vision in place, the next step is the tactical framework. This is where the big, inspiring idea becomes a day-to-day reality through a very simple, repeatable process. It really boils down to a 3-step process. First, you set just 1 to 3 really clear, super specific goals for your 12-week sprint. Then, you break those big goals down into the small, actionable tactics that you're going to do each and every week. And finally, you use a weekly plan to make sure those absolutely critical actions actually get done. Now, this brings us to a huge point. You can't directly control your results, but you have 100% control over your actions. And that's why this entire system focuses on measuring your execution. The belief is simple. If you consistently do the right things, the results are pretty much inevitable. So, if it's all about action, how good do you have to be? Do you need to be perfect? Well, this brings us to a really important number. The book shows that you don't need perfection to achieve excellence. You just need to be consistent. The target is 85% execution. That's the magic number. By actually scoring your follow-through each week, you get immediate, honest feedback on how you're doing. If you consistently hit that 85% mark on your most important tasks, the results are almost guaranteed to follow. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the principle that the entire system really hinges on. And it is a big one. You have to understand the profound difference between being interested and being truly committed. This is where the book makes a really powerful distinction. Being interested is passive. It means you'll do something if it's convenient, if the circumstances are right. Commitment, on the other hand, that's an active choice. It is a personal promise to yourself to accept no excuses and to do the work no matter what. The 12-week year demands that you act on your commitments, not on your feelings. There are going to be days you don't feel like it. That is an absolute given. The whole game is learning to do the things you need to do, regardless of how you feel. That's the core discipline for success. So, the ultimate takeaway here is this. By ditching that old, annualized way of thinking for a rigorous system of vision, planning, and real commitment, you can generate that powerful end-of-year push 4 times a year. So the only question left to ask yourself is, what could you really achieve if you finish strong every single 12 weeks?